Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. I just wanted to say hello and give you an update and hopefully a little bit of encouragement as well. The elders are meeting weekly and we're doing that virtually, and we are continuing to be in contact with the pastor search candidates. I know the coronavirus has put a delay on a lot of things in life, including that, but we are still pursuing that and moving forward. We've been in contact with everyone, and we would love your prayers to continue for that process, and we will give you updates as we go. I also just wanted to share with you what has helped me a little bit in the past couple weeks. I've been reading through the Gospels, and there's a couple examples of our faith and how fear interacts with that as well. And I know that right now the whole world is a bit in fear of this sickness that we've got going on, and I know that Satan loves that, and he will use that to gain any foothold that he can, and we just pray against that. And I've got a couple examples that I gained from the Gospels and just wanted to share that with you guys. And two of them are from Mark chapter 5, and one of them is from Matthew chapter 14. And the two from Mark deal with our faith in Jesus and his ability to heal. And the first example is talking about a woman who has been physically bleeding for years and years, and she's spent all of her money, exhausted her resources on trying to find a physician, or a group of physicians at least, to figure out what's wrong with her and try and find a cure, and she wasn't ever able to do that. And when she found out that Jesus was going to be physically near her, she sought out to go find him, and she was fighting her way through a crowd, and she knew that if she would just be able to touch Jesus, then he would be able to help her. And she reached out and grabbed onto his clothes, and Jesus felt power leave his body, and he turned around to see who it was that grabbed onto his clothes. And in that interaction, he explained to her that it was her faith in him that has healed her. And that's a pretty powerful example for us to remember and to think about and to pray on during this sickness scare. And if you are sick, or you know somebody who is sick, that it reminds us of our Savior's ability to heal us, and that there's always hope in that, and he's shown us that he can do it. Another example from that same chapter is this family that is scared that their daughter's about to die, and so they go after Jesus to bring him there, because they know that if they could just find him, if Jesus could just be in her presence, that he could heal her and prevent her death. And that's exactly what happened. Essentially, Jesus healed her, and she did not die. And it was their faith in him and the power that he has that was her saving grace in that circumstance. And I know that fear has a huge impact on our faith, and we can see that happen to Peter in the book of Matthew in chapter 14. It's kind of a cool, kind of a good reminder of how faith interacts with our fear, or vice versa. And the situation is that the disciples are out on a boat, and in the middle of the water comes up a storm, and they're afraid. And to add to that fear, they look out and they see somebody standing on the water in this storm, and so they're terrified. And they find out that it's Jesus, and or at least somebody who is saying that he's Jesus. And Peter says, "Lord, if it's you, call me out to you." And that's exactly what happens. So Jesus calls him out, and Peter walks on water. And it's his faith in Jesus that is allowing him to do this crazy thing. And all of a sudden, he lets the circumstances of what's going on around him, and it happened to be the wind and the storm, and the fear of that kind of creep in. And it starts taking away his faith in that situation and his faith in what's happening right there. And so as his fear grows, he begins to sink in the water. And I know that we're all afraid time to time, and we all have experienced fear. And the good news about fear is that as soon as we call out to Jesus, just like what Peter did, is that he always comes to our rescue. And Peter begins to sink, and he calls out to Jesus. And what does Jesus do? He immediately puts out his hand for Peter, and he brings him back to him. And even though we do let fear creep in at times, we can always call out to Jesus in our moments of fear, and he will always answer us, and he is so faithful. These are a couple of things that really helped me mentally in this circumstance of life, and it's kind of a crazy time right now, but I think that if we can hold on to these truths that we learn from the Bible, then it would benefit us all. Our prayers are with you. We hope that you are all well, and if you need anything, please reach out and contact us through the website. We love you all, and God bless you.